Hey, good morning everyone, it's Nicola here. And as we're getting into the new year, I've just been taking a little bit of time off this morning and watching some videos of some of the YouTubers that I really enjoy. And at the end of one of their videos, one of them said they really ought to get their money sorted out because they really didn't enjoy doing it. And I've got a really fantastic system for running your money. It's if you can use a simple spreadsheet, or even if you can't, because I'm about to show you. I'm not the biggest spreadsheet user, but in fact it doesn't come naturally to me at all, but I have taught myself the basics. It was taught to me by some mega successful entrepreneurs, and it was while I had the hotel, I was saying to them, how do people run their money? How do businesses run their money? Because doing it once a month just isn't enough. And even if you have a bookkeeper, they only produce management accounts once a month. And I was talking to some very, very successful entrepreneur friends of mine that ran hundreds of properties and several businesses at the same time. And one of the guy who was in charge of the operations said to me, we run our money weekly. In fact, he tries to do it daily, but weekly is fine. And it just gives you so much more control. And the other thing that they said it does is when you get a real handle on your money, when you've got a real grip of what's coming and going and on what day and in what week, then you can see out into the future that how much money you've got in your bank at any one time. Of course, we don't keep it all in our banks, do we? Because that's not safe. That's a conversation for another day. But however much money you've got on hand in various places at any one time is your I don't have to work money. So for example, if you have got a job and you can't see the point of saving because you're just grinding through the days, this system will show you not only how to save a little bit, but how good it makes you feel when you start to accumulate a bit down the road. Because this will show you exactly the impact that everything you spend today has on your money next week, next month, 3 months' time, 6 months' time, 1 year's time. And there is nothing as motivating as seeing that number at the end going up. Because you know that if you had to pack your job in at any time, you've got walk away money that will see you clear for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And the goal, of course, is to get to at least a year's money. But most people don't think that's possible. It's incredible how motivated you get when you see how the little savings really add up. And if you're a visual person, this is a must-do method of running your money. I used to teach this to all my clients in the Money Gym. It's in my Money Gym book, and it is honestly one of the most powerful tools I've ever come across for changing your thinking about money and feeling like you really are in control of your money. And it also gives you peace of mind. You know, when you go to the cash point or when you go to the pay for a big shop at Tesco's, you know exactly how much money you've got in your account and exactly how much you can spend. So without further waffle, I'm going to go on to swap over to show you exactly how to put one of these simple spreadsheets together. And it will be simple, I promise you that. And I will show you step by step how to do it. And if it helps you, I'd really appreciate a like and a comment underneath, because that's how my videos get shown to more people just like you. And that's exactly who I want to be watching my videos. So buckle up, here we go on the Manage Your Money Honey method. Here we go then. So you should be able to see my screen, and you can see there is my spreadsheet that I actually use on a daily basis. That's why it comes up first. Now I'm in Google Drive, and I like to use Google Drive because you can access your spreadsheet wherever you go on your phone or whatever. So, you know, if you like to update it literally as you're sitting having a coffee in a shop, you can do that. So I'm going to go to Google Sheets. And I'm going to go and call it something straight away so I don't lose it. Manage Your Money Honey. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is change some of the widths of some of these channels. We can actually do that as we go along, but you can see I'm just doing it by dragging the tops of it along like this. And we can so what we're going to do is we're going to do for income first, but we're going to do the dates. And what we want to do is start the day on a Monday. That's what I usually do. So tomorrow will be the 9th, if we're starting tomorrow, 9th of the 1st, 2023. And then we're going to look at our calendar, and we can see that the end of the week is the 15th of the 1st, 2023. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go along. Actually, that's in completely the wrong column. So I'm doing Control X, I've highlighted it. I'm going to do Control X and I'm going to do Control V. And that's in the right column now. So the next thing I want to do is 16th. I need at least 2 of these. 16th of the 1st, 2023. You can count them on your fingers if you want to. And the next one is 23. Okay, so when you've got the 3 in there, let's put in 2023 just so it knows what we're doing. When you've got the at least 3, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all 6 of those boxes all at once, and then I'm going to pick up this blue square and drag it across. And what that's going to do is it's going to extrapolate from that we want to go every week, with the top row being the start of the week and the bottom row being the bottom of the week. The other thing I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to just go and colour it in. So we've got at least 4 weeks in every month, just literally filling it in like this. So I find that makes life a little bit easier to see which month is which. Now, again, it's a bit weird sometimes because the month starts in the beginning of a week or something like that, but don't get too hung up on it. We're just going to go along and put in some different colours here so we can just see at a glance. And I'm going to pick up these 3 again, and I'm going to go along just to there. So turn it white again at the background. And then I'm going to do this lot in another colour again. Okay, that probably needs to be a different colour. Let's do it something pinkier. Try not to let your OCD come in now, Nicola, because that is a big problem with doing things like this. Okay, cool. All right, so that's my dates along the top. And then I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put in income. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put in job 1, income, job 2, perhaps. And then if you've got online business, and then if you've got, I don't know, other things, so you might have universal credit, or you might have housing benefit, or all sorts of things like that. Or you might have someone paying you rent from spare room. Okay, now the goal is ignore this first column because that's your starting point. And then you're going to go along and you're going to put in your, whenever you get paid. So say you get paid at the end of the month, you might get paid, I don't know, £2,000 from that. You might have a little part-time job that pays you something like, I don't know, £400 a month. You might get something like, I don't know, £750 a month from your online income. And you might rent your spare room out for, let's say, usually £500 or £600 a month. Okay, and then that's what we're going to do now is we're going to freeze the first column. So I'm going to view, freeze, first column. And then as I move along, it'll keep the first column in place, see? Then I'm also going to freeze the top 2 rows. So I'm going to go view, freeze, 2 rows. And then wherever I go, I'll always be able to see the first column and the top 2 rows. The other thing I'm going to do is just colour these in. You can get really obsessive about the colours on these things, and I try not to, because really it doesn't make any difference. But if it helps you see things more clearly, then do it. Okay, so I'm going to go along and I'm going to put, let's just say that comes in on the 750. Let's say it comes in there. And that comes in there. Otherwise, it's all a bit too neat. Let's say you've only just started that, so you're not going to get paid straight away. Okay, so what you do then is you go along and you put in, you can copy those across, and then you can adjust them manually if you need to. So every month, that's sort of the repeating pattern, if you like. If you highlight and then do Control X, it will literally just cut it out and you can move it to wherever you want to. So I wanted to move it so that that was here. And that is here. Okay, so that's in, so that's the month. There we go. You get the hang of it after a while. Now you can see that this one is actually, no, that's a short month too. We occasionally get long months. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along here, just in case we get a short month that I can show you. Sorry, I mean, we occasionally get long months, and I wanted to be able to show you a long month and what happens on that. Now, when you get to the end here, you can go insert columns to the right. And then when you've got 3, you can go insert 3 columns to the right. Now, this spreadsheet is going to go to the end of the year, so you'll want to go and put in enough dates and enough columns for that. Come on. That's taking us up to July. Can't grasp it for some reason. Look at that. Come on. Yeah, that's taken us up for the first 6 months, so that will do for now. And then what you want to do is you want to put in a subtotal column. So I'm going to leave a spare just in case we get some more income going. And then you want to add it up. So what you're going to do is you're going to add up from row 5 to row 10. And the way to do that is equals sum, open bracket, and then drag those columns that you want to include. And then if you actually just click return, it will finish it off for you. So that's, yeah, finished off the sum there for you. So now we want to copy this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that across to there. And then I'm going to make it all bold. And then I'm going to put some lines around it. So I'm going to put a line at the top and a line at the bottom. I don't like it on that column, so I'm going to just get rid of them on that column. Right. Then I'm going to copy this along, which we know how to do that, don't we? We're not going to do it like we did the dates. We're just going to literally copy one. And that will add up everything that's above it. And you can see, do it just to one to make sure it works. And then we'll take it right to the end. So that's adding up all your income. Then what you do is you go along here and you put in all of the things that you spend out on. So let's go. Now, I would do one of these for your house and one of these for your business. So you can change the name bit down here. So you go domestic, and then you can have another sheet called business that you'll do separately. And in fact, you need to do one of these for every bank account you've got. So if you've got a domestic bank account and a business bank account, that's fine. And I'm going to show you how to do the credit cards in a minute. Okay, so you've got domestic rates, you've got electricity, you've got gas, you've got your internet, you've got your various other things like that. What else you might have? And I generally leave some spaces in case I've forgotten something, and it gives you room to add it in. And then I go down here and I'll put all of the things that you absolutely must pay here, and then I'll put things that are discretionary down here. So food, naked wine subscription, food, entertainment, which means things like you can have more than one entertainment. So you could have things like Netflix, you could have going out, you could have the pictures, you know, all the things you do, and you can get the rough amount for what you spend per week on those from your credit card statements, your debit card statements, and receipts if you buy cash. Speaking of which, I would always get cash. I would always have a cash column, and I'll show you how to handle that in a minute. So gas, electricity, gas, internet. There's loads of things that I'm forgetting, I'm sure. But anyway, we're going to go along here. And domestic rates, say if they get paid at the first week of the month, we'll put in something like, I don't know, 150 quid for that. Electricity, say that's 100 quid a month, if we're lucky. Gas, say 80 quid a month. That's horrendous bills. These are £30 a month. Then food, say you spend, if you're a family, if you spend, say, £200 a week. And then entertainment, say another £60 a week. I'm only joking. Cash, say you have to get out money for bus fares and things like that, just say £100 a week. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to move the things that you spend weekly, and you're going to highlight those, and then you're going to run those along. And then you're going to go back to the beginning, and you're going to do the things that you do monthly, and you're literally going to copy those, which I've highlighted and done Apple C or Control C, and I'm going to put them in here. On the first week of the month. You see, that's a long month. I'll put them in here. So I just highlighted that and deleted it. There we go. See, if you get paid on the last week of the month, that's a grim month as well, isn't it? That's 2 grim months there. 2 5-week months. Okay. Right, so that's the weekly stuff done and the monthly stuff done. And you can see that you could add in, you go insert, rows, insert one row above or below. Okay, now if you're going to, this is why you always leave a space here, because it can get a little bit leery if you do this sum and it goes to row 10 and it's adding up row 10, but you now insert another row in and you've now got to row 11. And it doesn't matter if there's nothing in row 11, but if you put something in row 11, you'll have to come along and, oh, it's picked up to row 11. So it's done. It's done it automatically, but you just need to remember, you know, if you're adding rows in and think columns in and things, you need to make sure they're included in the totals just by hovering over them and checking them. Now I'm going to go along and I'm going to do exactly the same here. So I'm going to copy that whole row, Control C or Apple C, and I'm going to go down to here and Control V or Apple C, and then I'm going to just hover over it and make sure it's picking up from 16, E16, well it's not, to E27. So I just need to go up here and change the 21 to the 16 without getting rid of the little dots. And then I'm going to run that along to the end. I'm going to run to there to start with. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, then I'm going to run it along to the end. There you go, it's adding up your expenses. Okay, so you might want to put in there. Okay. Now we need a, what's the difference? So this is easy. You go equals your income, so click on that box, minus your outgoings. And that's when you click on that box. And you can see the sum it's done. This equals E12 minus E28. My E12 minus E28. And then you're going to run that along as well, because you need it to do on every column. Okay, so you see that some weeks you've got a loss and some weeks you've got a profit. So this is where you get the cash flow element of it. Cash in hand. You can call it whatever you like, whatever makes sense to you. Okay, so this is where you're going to go and take this week and add it to this week to see what you've got this week. But first of all, we want to put in our cash in hand. So this is where you go and you look at all your bank, you look at, okay, so this is where you go and you look at this bank account and you find out what you had in your bank account as of midnight on the 8th of January. And that's when you take it from, midnight on Sunday. That's when your day starts. So let's just say you've got, I don't know, you had a good, well, difficult month, Christmas, isn't it? Okay, so let's just say you had £500 in your bank at midnight on the 8th. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to add whatever you've got in the bank here to whatever the difference is between your income and your expenses that week. And that sum is, and you can see it going into this row up here as you type it. So it's equals this box plus this box. Nice simple sum there. Now, you can't run this along because it would be constantly trying to add up whatever's in two boxes to the left. So what you need to do now is you need to do a slightly different sum on this week, and then you can run it along. So this week's sum is equals this box plus this box. And you can see if you started off with 500 quid and you had no income or outgoings in the first week, which is not going to happen, is it? Oh, I know what's happened. We haven't put in the weekly things here. So let's go back and put those in and run them along to there. Now, good for you if you spotted that and you've been sitting there shouting, Nicola, you missed a bit, because that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to know your way around this spreadsheet so well that you can spot a mistake, because occasionally they do crop up. So let's have a look. We had £500 at the start of the week, and then we had nothing coming in that week, and we had 360 going out. So that's a loss of 360 that week. We could call it profit and loss here if you wanted to. There we go. That'll make you feel much more businesslike. And then we've got £140 left. Now we're going into this week with £140, but we've got 750 coming in from our online business, and then we've got our usual weekly outgoings there, and that gives us £530 at the end of this week. Then the next week we'll have £530 plus £600 less what we've spent during the week. So we can just copy this one along now, and that will make sense. Okay. Now, what I tend to do on this cash in hand one is I will tend to put lines on it. So let's do that. Different set of lines. I'll do a top single line and a bottom line, but I'll make that a double line, or perhaps a bolder line. Okay. And then the other thing I do is I'll put it in so that it goes red if it goes into a minus situation. So I'll go format, number, go right to the bottom to custom number format, and then I'll do, depending if I want to round it up or not, I'm looking for the red where it says red. That's dollars, we don't want that. I want 2 zeros. So that's the 2 zeros. There we are. That's the one I want. I want it. Oh, I don't really want the comma, but anyway. Can I take the comma out? Why not? See if that works. Okay, so all the time that this is in positive, it's going to stay black. But if it goes into negative, so say, for example, we took out the online business income, say we didn't do that for 4 months, we're still all right. Because we're earning a decent amount and we're not spending very much. But then if you put in things like a car, say you're paying on a car, I can't imagine you'd ever spend that much on a car, but there we go. Some people do. No, we're still all right financially. It's amazing, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Look. So because we haven't had any money coming in from our internet business, we went into negative cash flow there. So that's what you've got to try and make it up. So let's say we had online business was, instead of 750, so it was building up gradually. So you can actually see where you're going to go over on your cash flow and you need to make arrangements to do something different. So say, for example, you wanted to save that 70 quid, you could just say, we're only going to take out £80 in cash that week and we're not going to spend anything on entertainment. And you're back in the black again. So you can see how much power it gives you. Now, the other thing you need to do is with credit card, if you've got you need to get a clear credit card to start this, ideally. And as you spend stuff on your credit card, actually put it in as if you're manually spending it. So say you spent 60 quid on your credit card there, and then you spent another 200 quid on it there. Just say you were buying some stuff you couldn't get, you had to buy, and you only had your credit card with you. Then basically what you'll then do is say the credit card payment needs to be made here. You'll then say, okay, so how much did I pay off my credit card? I paid the whole lot off, 260. And then you get rid of these two. But if you put it in as if you're spending it, then when it comes to pay it off, you can pay it all off at once. And you'll see, it doesn't make any difference to your cash flow because you already had it in as if you were spending it here and here. So the idea is to basically clear off your credit cards from anything you use them for during the week. Some people, I have a credit card for my business expenses and one for my personal expenses, and then I clear them off when the amount comes in. And you could even go along and just put in, how much you usually use your credit card for every month. If it's around the same amount every month, say, for example, you're buying petrol on your credit card, then you could actually just go along and put it in as if you're going to be spending it. So it's slightly different way of handling that, but it's all still quite simple. Okay, so then what you need to do, the final thing you need to do is every single week, so you won't do it the first week because you're only just getting started, but on Monday morning, on the 16th of January, you'll get a printout of exactly what happened in your bank, your personal account, on the 9th to the 15th. And that's all you're interested in doing the week before. And then what you do is you go along and you say, okay, so there was actually a little bit of trickle of business there. Say we had, 30 quid came in from that we weren't expecting. And then also we're going to make that bold because we know it definitely happened. So if you see it on your bank statement, you tick it and make it bold on your spreadsheet. And only the things that you see do you make bold. So let's just say we only spent 180 quid that week. So we'll put that in. We can see from our statement, we can see we only did 50 quid entertainment, but we took out £200 in cash. And you can see that from your bank statement. So you make that bold. And then The next week, on the 23rd of the 1st, you get a printout from your bank between the 16th and the 22nd. And what you're doing is at the end of each week, say we're doing this on Monday, the 16th of January, you're making sure that your cash in hand is exactly what you have in your bank. And I always just type reconciled under there. Because if everything's that you've bolded is exactly the same as what's on the statement, and the amount that you started with at the beginning of the week is the same as what's on the statement, then this figure will always be the same as what's on the statement. And if there's anything else that's come in, say, for example, bank charges, that's something I might have forgotten. A horrendous amount of bank charges. There we go. I'll make that bold. And that should now equal exactly what I've got on my statement at the going forward at the midnight on Sunday, the 15th of January. And you can see there that if I go ahead and spend what I'm planning to spend this week, and this is why it's important you do it on a Monday, so you can adjust your spending accordingly. I'm going to go into the red by £35.50. Now, what I might want to do is I could either put something onto spend it on my credit card, which I'm going to pay off here on the 27th of the month. So say, for example, I wanted to put only £150 worth in cash, but I'm going to put 50 on my credit card. But I'm not going to need to pay that till the 27th. So I'm going to put it in there instead of here. And you can see that's put me in the black again, only by £14.50, but it's better than nothing. And you can see how if you did this religiously every single Monday morning and you only made bold the things that you saw on your statement, and when you pay off your credit card, you put in how much you pay off. And then say, for example, that hadn't paid off the whole balance, I would then go along and I could put in, say there was another £100 to pay off, I could then go along and put in 360 here, because that's what I'm intending to pay off next time. The 260 that I might have used during the month and the 100 that was carried forward here. Try and never carry forward too much at a time, because that is really, you're going to be paying a lot of interest on that unless you move it to an interest-free credit card for purchases and balance transfers. Okay, so here we go. This is how you keep an absolute track week by week of your finances, how you plan out what's happening in the future. You wanted to get to 3 months worth of income saved up. You can see that generally speaking, your income is 2,600. Let's say what that is. That's 3,450. No, 3,350 plus. So it's 3,750 times 3. Let's just do that because I'm not so good on the mental arithmetic. Plus 6 plus 750 plus 400. So 3,750 times 3 equals 11,250. Now you can see that if you go along here, certain times you get to 5,400, but you're nowhere near 11. So that what you want to do is you want to try then work out, could we shave off a bit every week from our food bill? Could we take that down to 150? What difference would that make? It would mean you end up with a bit more every month left over. Now, the other thing you could do is you can put in here savings. And you could put at the end of every month, you want to move over say 400 quid. That leaves you in the black, but you've got 400 quid in your savings account now. And you can see what impact that would make on your bottom line. You see why the colours are so important, can't you? There you go, June's another long one. Okay. Now, the other thing you can do is if you want to keep track of what you're moving in savings, is you could have here, down here, savings account. And then go equals whatever you've moved across from here. And that was nothing. But you can see so that would be whatever you've moved across from here, plus whatever you had in your savings account. So say you had 50 quid in your savings account, nothing moved across. This sum would be exactly the same as the cash in hand sum. So it's equals this plus whatever's come down from there, which is nothing. And then here, this one would be equals this one plus this one. I don't know why we're not getting any zeros, but it must have been something to do with the formatting. So this one can run along to the end now. And this one can run along to the end now. And you can see that if you just saved £400 a month and you didn't take it back out again, then you'd end up the year with £1,650 and you'd still be in the black. But you could also see that you could perhaps increase your savings at certain points. So here I've got 614 left over after I've moved my savings money over. So you think perhaps, let's take that up to 600. Let's take that up to 600. You might think I'll do 600 for 3 months. Oh, wrong one. And I'm going to go to say, and you can see you've still got a good, because you're accumulating money in your bank account, you've still got a good float there, but your savings are going up dramatically. You're halfway there to having 3 months' money in your savings account, which is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. But you can see how running a cash flow forecast and updating it week by week so that it matches your bank account, that's the point at which you're reconciled. So you know you're good for the following week. And then you can actually just play with this as much as you want to. And it literally is that simple to run your money like it's a business. Got any questions? Don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. There's quite a lot more we could do with this. We could take it to the end of the year and then we could turn it into management accounts for you on a different spreadsheet, and I could show you how to do that. But I'd love to know what your questions are as of this moment. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll speak to you later.